We're going to keep on rolling here in the Media Center. We've now been joined by Carson Hocevar, driver of the number 77 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet. If you have a question, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We're going to start with Jeff and then go to John.
I know the reason you're probably in here is because this is the track that gave you your big break in a way, but I'd also like to know why you are addicted to buying cars that look like NASCARs now. Is your accountant okay with this? Why is this happening?
I mean, I've always wanted cup car or like street legal cars as a kid. At Kalamazoo Speedway, where I was from, the owner had one of the Intimidator SS's, and I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And yeah, just every time I look on Facebook Marketplace, it seems like there's more and more coming up. Either my algorithm's knowing it, or people are making these cars knowing I'll probably buy them. So I mean, I was literally in the hauler a minute ago looking at another one. So yeah, I just enjoy cars, but I enjoy NASCARs too. So it's a lot of fun when you drive it. Like the Dale truck, I blew a tire and I think I got 100 honks and hell yeahs and go Dale and stuff like that. And I haven't drove the Oldsmobile yet on the road, so I'm curious that reaction. But it's it's pretty awesome to it's history of NASCAR, but also too it's super fun to the first time I drove the Dale truck, I had about 6 people walk over to me and we talked. I was stuck at a gas station for an hour and we just talked NASCAR. So I think that's what I've most enjoyed with it.
So you were on the side of the road with one tire, people were driving by going hell yeah.
Well, so I stopped and got fuel, and as I'm pulling out, I got a bunch of people roll down their window, hell yes. And then as I was parked, I got a lot of honks. So when they saw it, and I didn't know that many people are on the highway that I know, or I didn't even know that many people had my number, because I had about like 8 people call me saying they saw it within 10 minutes of driving by it. So it's nice to know that if you have an issue, I guess the Dale truck's pretty obvious that if I got a problem, they'll hook me up.
Go ahead, John.
John Crane, NASCAR.com. Carson, I understand you're going to be part of a new documentary called Rising that kind of chronicles 3 up-and-coming drivers in the circuit. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that and just your overall racing journey from creating stop motions as a kid to being a Cup Series driver now.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's ultimately you always want to have show people more of the insights and everything. And I remember as a kid buying every DVD I could find of mini docs, or I think Casey Kane had one, Tony had one, Junior had plenty, and obviously Senior had a lot of them. So I mean, that's what made me fans of a lot, or really just keep in racing. So the more we can do of that as a sport is big, and for me to be a part of it, I think is super cool, and it's been a lot of fun to open up a lot on that, and I'm just excited for a lot of people to see it when it comes out.
Additional questions? We will go to the back.
Blake Smith, WVJS Radio. Carson made some headlines last week with some contact with a 9-car at Arlington. Have you all discussed that, or is it kind of just in the past and move forward to Gateway?
Yeah, I mean, you just move on. I mean, it was super early, and it didn't affect either one of us. I don't think too bad. So you just move on. You just think one thinks you're going to give a little bit extra room, and the other you're trying to kind of play a pick. And I think that's just racing.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll come all the way up to the front to Bob.
No IndyCar racing this weekend, Bob?
No more the rest of the year. So you're stuck with me.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Happy to have you. Thanks for coming back to the roots.
Yeah. I'm curious when people see you with the 3 truck, and you said they come up and talk to you, like, do they know who you are? And people get more excited when they see that it's you, or less excited when they see that it's you?
Definitely at the start. when I first got it. There was very much of, I don't know any drivers I haven't watched since Dale, raced and whatever. And now it's very obvious that it's me with it. I don't know if they're more excited or less excited. It hasn't got, I haven't got any nasty notes from anything, but I have gotten a few, like Darlington, I'll drive it to the racetrack or whatever. I had a few fans that were camped out in the parking lot of the hotel because they knew I was staying there and just waited till I came out because they wanted some things signed and they wanted pictures, which I thought was cool, but I thought I was like, like, damn, okay, like that, that's very, I was like, that's, the first time I've ever had that. I was like, that's maybe a little weird, but I was like, you kind of open yourself up when you make it very obvious and park it out front and just be like, yeah, it's very clear I'm staying at this hotel. But yeah, it's a lot. It's been super fun for me. I like talking racing, and it's been a conversation starter for a lot of things.
We'll go up to the front. She has her hand in there.
Andrea Perez with CatchFence.com. Have you ever thought about having iRacing as a sponsor livery or like a future partnership?
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool for sure, because obviously I use it a lot. But for how I drive on iRacing, I don't think I'm their brightest shining ambassador they would want per se a little bit. So I kind of understand that too.
We're going to go to
Just being
Tim.
honest.
Tim Moore Motorsports today. I have two questions for you. First off, because you kind of mentioned friends and so on, who owns the Jeff Gordon cart that you took a photo with as well there?
The golf cart?
Yeah, the golf cart.
Pete, he works on Raja's truck. He's a mechanic or something. But yeah, he has that, and they took it to Richmond or whatever, and he found it on Marketplace. So I guess, when you work at Spire, you have to buy some cool shit on Marketplace.
Was it your idea or his idea?
I didn't know anything about it. It just showed up one day, and I was at Darlington, and he drove up with it, and we were laughing, and we're sitting right there, and we're like, I wonder if we can get out there on the racetrack and go out there. And the head of Darlington just happened to come over, like, hey, do you mind if we go take a picture? And yeah, he loved it, so it was fun.
And I imagine I probably know the answer, but I know Christopher was a little upset, at least with the scenario in pit road last week. I'm just wondering, was there any conversations with your team from him that you're aware of or now?
Yeah, Luke and my crew chief and Adam Stevens talked, and they were all good. I think, obviously, heat of the moment, everybody, can show their frustration and everything, but they talked and they were all good. And drivers most of the time on pit road are kind of just blind per se, right? And it's more on the crew chiefs from that aspect to guide us in and out. So they had that conversation, and I think they're plenty good moving forward.
We're going to go to Lee and then Dustin and end with Dalton.
Lee Spencer's here, XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. Do you remember the buzz surrounding your Cup debut here?
I do, yeah. I remember a lot of that day. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's pretty crazy what it was like, and I think I don't know if there was a lot of buzz at the start, but I remember when I got out of the car, there was a lot of moving pieces on my end. That it was a very quick 180 of trying to just sign an extension on my truck deal to legitimately getting conversations started about driving a Cup car within 70 laps, which was pretty wild.
I mean, in a lot of cases, when you have an opportunity like that, some guys, I mean, on the other side of that, Corey had a great opportunity that day, but you were in, like, secondary equipment and really kind of started making a name for yourself. At what point did that sink in?
I mean, I was just very nervous about being slow. I didn't, I think everybody, or it was, I think if I wrecked or ran 30th, I think, it wouldn't have been a shock. But if I ran really fast, I think that would have been the shock and the needle mover per se. And yeah, luckily when the brake rotor broke, I was moving forward and we were like 15th or 16th, which I thought helped me a little bit theoretically because, like a month later, it was like we were running 8th place lap times, and then like 2 months later, the stories were, we were going to run top 5, and then 6 months later, we were going to win the race. So I'm like, these are getting out of control a little bit, like, but it kind of helped a little bit of just kind of that what if aspect that I thought made Spire more hungry to, be aggressive and want to make that change for me being in the 77, which I thought was, I would have liked to see how that day played out, but honestly, I thought it couldn't have worked out any better.
And finally, I talked to Kyle Busch last week, and he said when he races in Xfinity and in the Truck Series against those drivers, when they can keep up with him, when they can beat him, when they can contend with him, as a former owner, he knows that they're ready to make the jump. What did you feel when you were racing against Cup guys that would come to Truck, and how would you kind of grade yourself against them?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're racing a Cup guy in trucks or Xfinity, ultimately, like their owners watching that, that's how they really grade it. When there's no Cup guys in the field, I mean, you could win 10 of them, but if you go 0-10, if it's split half and half, you go 10-0 against no Cup guys, but you go 0-10 against Cup guys. I think that's what a lot of teams really look at. You're still really good, but I think that is a true grade. And, Dickerson and I talk about it all the time because obviously he was an agent and in there, and he was there when the top 10 of nationwide would be all Cup guys, and you'd be lucky to run 12th, and you'd be pumped because you were best in class. So, I don't think we need to get back there, but I definitely think it would make it a lot easier that. I'm here because I got to go to a Cup field and race against them and got thrown to the deep end, and I didn't sink right away. So, I think that's the biggest thing is, if I never got that shot, I would just be hoping Cup guys would come run trucks that, maybe I can outrun them. I remember Sonoma when I won the pole, there were like 4 Cup guys right behind me that Cup or that truck pole meant a lot more because of that.
We'll go to Dustin and wrap with Dalton in the middle.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. This is a narrow pit road, I think the tightest on the circuit. What's the challenge? What's it like from the driver's perspective?
I mean, I just wrecked last week on pit road, so I'm pumped now that you say that. Shit. No, I don't. It's so tough now because we pit a lot more, and somebody asked me a while ago because it was just like we come in like every week that there was accidents or issues on pit road, and I just think everybody's so much more competitive now. I remember watching Cup races and there'd be 9 to 14 guys on the lead lap, and they all picked not even close to each other, and now there'll be 32 on the lead lap, and you pit 10 times together, because there's stages and cautions, there's less green flag stops, and we'll go weeks. I remember the first 8 races, I was like, shoot, I haven't even done a green flag stop. I don't even remember really how to do it. So I think that's the biggest thing that, it makes it even more challenging, but I just think it's maybe less because we're it's so normal now to come down pit road and there's 32 guys and they're all competitive too, and the stops are faster. They're not sitting there for 14 to 17 seconds, and the bad guys are maybe 18 to 19 seconds. I mean, the dead last place car is still hitting 9-second pit stops. So it's so competitive from the pit stops to the drivers and the cars now that I think it's just so common now that I think we're, when you tighten it up like this, we're kind of used to it now.
To come back from a spin and finish top 10 at a place like Darlington, how personally significant was that to you, or was that more of a, boy, what could have been if I didn't have that? How did you look at it last week?
I mean, I don't. Toyotas were super fast, so yeah, I don't think there was any like what ifs. I think the only what ifs is if we could have ran best in class from Chevy aspect to run like 5th or 6th versus 9th, but yeah, I was still really happy with that, right? The turnaround, the adversity, to be able to go from like pretty good to like the worst driving car I felt like I've ever had for a minute, and then we can put 2/10 of air or something stupid, sensitive, and be pretty good, right? And I think that's really been our year a little bit, is just being able to, I always mention Jeff, but I mean, he's just who I talk to 24/7. He's really big on, the really, really good teams. They might have a total cluster of a day, and you might be the other guys are laughing at them or pointing just like, man, they're terrible. But at the end of it, they look at the scoreboard and they're like, how did they finish, single digits? And, we use the 5-card example at times, right? He'll have adversity a lot of the day, and then all of a sudden he's 6th or 7th or 8th, and that's where we've been trying to mimic per se, and for us to be able to do that day, I think was important on a day that I felt like Chevy, but also Hendrick, we just kind of all missed it a little bit.
We'll take one final question from Dalton.
Hey Carson, Dalton Hopgood, the front stretch. You said that you were on Facebook Marketplace before this in the hauler. Is there any lookalike cars you were specifically looking at?
Yes. There was. Well, so I just get DMs all the time now of people with cars, and this one that I was looking at, it's not for sale, but I was just looking at it. The guy had a COT Casey Kane Cup car, and I was just like, that'd be pretty cool to have. So, yeah. Well, I got the Oldsmobile, and I'm just trying to collect all the you gotta get the Oldsmobile, the Monte Carlo, the Lumina, and then hopefully the COT. But I gotta build a shop first. But I think what's most fun is like any car I get, I'm gonna drive it. They're not gonna just sit on a shelf and collect dust or have a duster come in on Wednesdays, so you can take pictures of them. I'm gonna actually drive them.
Are you gonna create a schedule so you can drive one every day of the week?
Heather? Probably.
All right, Carson. Well, thanks for spending time with us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.